My project name is Divine Homelessness, living in the kilns, as Jingdezhen increasingly transformed into a commercialized cultural symbol. Rising living costs have pushed a growing number of young drifted porcelain artists into low-cost and unstable ways of living. Jingdezhen is a very historical city renowned worldwide as a premier center of porcelain production situated in southern China. In this city, the young drifted artists called Jing Drifters are typically coming from large urban areas to Jingdezhen, seeking 3 to 6 months temporary living and creative experiences. Rejecting the mass production and pressures of urban life, they abandon conventional ideas of home and traditional ways of living. Instead, they drift into this place without fixed rules, open and experimental.
我觉得他们身上还是会有天真的那一部分。这个是我18年到雕塑之后，我就觉得是我感受很深的一个部分。说天真不是说他幼稚，是真的是说人性当中那种天真，我觉得是非常非常难得的。如果是说他是选择一种生活方式的话，就他其实可能就都不需要，他只要舒适，就是你不要干扰我太多，让我自己生活就好。所以你们在后面，比如说你在做这个建筑的时候，要想到这一点，他其实是选择他自己一种生活方式，你不能在任何方向上，或者是对他有牵制，或者是有要求，他肯定是不喜欢大城市的那一些。
In response to this, the project proposes a syncretic, experimental temple kiln house between porcelain production and temporary residence next to a coral site in Jingdezhen. My research investigates the processes and rituals of porcelain making in Jingdezhen and provoke a question. Can there be an architectural form that accommodates the temporary, collective lifestyle of Jing Drifters while coexisting with the enduring craftsmanship of porcelain production? In Jingdezhen, porcelain-making architectures has never been merely a space for production. 1,000 years ago, people have had the habit of appropriating public infrastructure for private purpose, turning it into spaces for daily life and ritual. This is a scroll painting depicting a porcelain village in Jingdezhen during Song Dynasty. Therefore, the layout of the village blended to agricultural fields, ritual spaces, and domestic elements. Although this is an abstract representation, it still redefines the spatial relationship between production and domestic life. Back to today, Jing Drifters. They are totally uprooted, drifting without stable ways of living. They have abandoned the conventional ideals of home, historical typologies of architecture, and traditional lifestyles. Rejecting the mass production and pressures of urban life, they seek an alternative existence through short-term, experimental ways of living and creating. This is a miniature wood-firing kiln built by Jing Drifters using cheap materials for reducing costs. It raises questions about how kilns can blend to contemporary transient ways of living. In Jingdezhen, people often call the place where porcelain are made as porcelain factory. This building is simply divided into 2 zones, a yellow ceramic workshop and a red shared kitchen and rest area. However, it oversimplifies the traditional depths of porcelain making. The term porcelain factory originates from the first centralized imperial kiln factory built during the Ming Dynasty. It follows the symmetrical and hierarchical structure of imperial palace, which is totally different with a typical factory as we know it today. From the entrance to the middle, The layout includes administrative office and temple, spaces not used for production but for daily governance. Only upper left corner was designated as the collective living and working space for craftsmen. Within this confined corner, workers organically created a syncretic order, where living and crafting were mixing. Within this factory, a mythologized kiln worker was created, Tongbin. According to legend, after being forced to fight an impossible dragonon, he leaped into the kiln in protest. His sacrifice sparked worker uprising against exploitation. To suppress unrest and restore order, the Ming Empire built the Fire God Temple, a sacred space where porters could seek justice and protection. The worship hall and opera stage became a site of ritual and gathering. However, during the communist reforms of 20th century, the temple was demolished as a part of the nationwide campaign against religion and feudal superstition. Today, Tongbin is revived as a tourism symbol during the Welcoming Deity Festival, but the ritual has become uprooted and most porters no longer know his history. Yet, for Jing Drifter, Tongbin represents something new, a lost spiritual anchor, a symbol of resistance, and a call to reconnect community, craft, and ritual in contemporary ceramic practice. After over 1,000 years of mining in Jingdezhen, the exhaustion of porcelain clay resources makes disconnected between Jing Drifters and local material essence. In response to the depletion of mineral resources and temporary needs of the Jing Drifters, the government plans to establish porcelain clay reserve base and innovative industries in rural areas. As this reason, the project sits in a transitional zone on the edge of Jingdezhen, nestled between a working coral and rural farmland. The coral, once a site of extraction, can be repurposed as a material source for Jing Drifters. The section of kilns from ancient times shows kilns have shifted from being embedded in the hills to moving into the city center, losing their connection with the landscape. Interestingly, the Tongbin Temple, rebuilt in 2018, follow a similar section logic, from the entrance to the opera stage to the worship hall. Each space is arranged with a change in elevation. This iteration design, as a research conclusion, adopts the same sequence, preserving both living and ceremonial spaces for different kilns. However, it risks ignoring the core of the Jingdezhen craft, the 72 steps of porcelain making, which is the traditional porcelain making process in Jingdezhen, each tied to a specific profession, tool, and spatial function. This was not just a system of production, but a social infrastructure where labor, knowledge, and daily life were closely blended. For today's Jing Drifter, this complexity offers more than technical guidance. I see the TEF 72 steps also provide a spatial logic and collective rhythm, a way of structuring how people work, live, and create together. I have distilled the complex system into 6 essential components, which serve as both spatial principles and architectural elements in the design. For these Jing Drifters, who have completely abandoned conventional forms of architectures and ways of living, the project proposes highly experimental spaces, precisely fit to their unconventional lifestyle. They now inhabited a new territory defined by clay, kilns, ceramics processes, and porcelain knowledge. Each living and workspace in the project is conceptualized as an individual island, uniquely responding to its immediate context, be it clay mountains, water, or other environmental elements. As a storage space for ceramic raw materials, it is placed next to the porcelain coral, directly connecting the building to the landscape of extraction. The exterior slopes serve as storage for raw minerals and separated by wire mesh delineate the boundary. Inside, Jing Drifters temporarily use the space into an informal cinema using projectors, and sometimes host lectures focused on sharing porcelain-making knowledge. This semi-outdoor courtyard with sunken brick basins is used for soaking, filtering. Jing Drifters prepare clay collectively under the sun, then store the dried bricks in an adjacent warehouse. A shower wall made from ceramic waste provides water access. More than a shower, it supports clay work and occasional cleaning, embedding ritual symbolically into warehouse. Then, it is the indoor workspace for throwing, molding, and hand-building clay forms, designed for both making and living. Each spatial threshold softens the boundary between working and living. At the transition between indoor and outdoor areas, a multi-use water tub made of bricks provides access to water pottery, hand washing, or rinsing vegetables. These everyday elements explains how Jing Drifters accessing the public infrastructure. Here, Jing Drifter experiment with innovative glaze recipes, freely exploring contemporary ceramic possibilities. At the center of the space, stainless steel glaze mixers are connected to pipes providing water input and glaze output. Professional spraying areas and equipment are located on both sides. The drying racks are allowing Jing Drifters to hang clothes, dry food, and newly glazed ceramic pieces simultaneously. When the Jing Drifters reject mass production of the city and subjects, their individual studios for working and painting become crucial. At the center of the ground floor is a communal dining area, surrounded by 4 studios enclosed by curtains. They also can go to the second floor and take a nap in the hammocks. This highly experimental space perfectly aligns with the Jing Drifter ideals as a liberating environment free from conventional restrictions, yet still fostering a community of neighbors who respect and recognize each other's identities and shared purpose. Here marks the final stage of ceramic production. Finished ceramics are stored on both sides of the kiln. Above, temporary bedroom allow Jing Drifters to sleep and get their work overnight. On both sides, concave halls borrow the language of the egg-shaped kiln, housing Tongbin shrines, temporary displays of ceramic works, and stoves for high-temperature cooking. Daily fed ceramics spill into architecture. Ceramic tables, hanging tiles, and shared field mesh wool turn art making into constructions. In the kiln base, faring, living, and ritual coexist in one continuous space. In conclusion, the Jing Drifters, as a group of uprooted people, find themselves in Jingdezhen, and yet they discover something to hold on to, a thread that binds them to place, the ancient process of porcelain making. Because of this, they seek to live in a space that is anything but conventional, rejecting traditional architectural types and instead embracing a state of radical openness and constant flux. Yet, paradoxically, they also find themselves immersed in porcelain making. My design, therefore, touches these two extremes at once. On one hand, it is radically new, dissolved, and experimental. On the other, it is connecting the ancient and tradition, nestled beside the porcelain corals. Here, the Jing Drifters left all the old world behind, but that rescued some of the porcelain traditions as an axiom to think about a different way of living.